The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, has expressed optimism that the APC will win the 2023 general election if the conduct of the election is free and fair. Now, Adamu made the assertion while receiving the ambassador of Poland to Nigeria, Joanna Tarnowska, recently in his office. He says, with the massive support that the party enjoys from over 43 million Nigerians, there's no way the party will lose the 2023 polls. Adamu also informed the Polish ambassador that as a result of the opportunities created by the APC, a female governorship candidate emerged from the party in conservative northern Nigeria. And for more on this, I have in the studio the national coordinator of the Tinubu campaign agenda for Nigeria, Zainab Yusuf Ogundada, and Biodun Ajiboye, who is a member of the Media Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. So good to have you. And of course, I'd like to start from you. You, the female voice that we have right here on the show, and I want you to talk about how the APC is already boasting of some of its credentials. It's saying that, I mean, compared to other parties, it already has a female governorship candidate in the conservative northern part of Nigeria, that's specifically in Adamawa State. Yes. This forms part of its credentials that it's going to use to explain to Nigerians why it should retain power in 2023. Tell us more about some other areas that the APC is already preparing to use to sell the party to Nigerians, as you know, the campaigns are set to begin in September.
Oh, okay. Thank you for having me here once again. My name is actually Zainab Yusuf Ogundada. Okay. Okay, and talking about a woman winning the primaries in Adamawa State, yes, it's a really great achievement for us as women that we've been canvassing for a certain percentage of representation in government, and this coming in, especially having her come from the northern part of Nigeria, is a great plus for our party. And so many other things that the party has been able to achieve within this present government that it's on, especially infrastructure area. If you look at road constructions all around the country, and even transportation generally, see the rail system that has been commissioned already, the Lagos-Ibadan rail, the Abuja-Kaduna, and several other rail, even Delta, Kogi, several achievements. And that's why we are so sure that the next election will be an easy ride for us.
Okay. A lot of optimism indeed. And I come to you, Ajiboye. How is the APC preparing for the campaigns which will commence next year? How is the APC-led federal government, as we have heard, trying to ensure that your presidential candidate, Tinubu, has a lot of rich dossier to be able to use to woo Nigerians, to be able to give him an opportunity to serve, and so that the governing party can retain power, if it can?
Well, that's interesting. Somna, thank you for having me around. The APC is very prepared for the 2023 elections. No doubt about that. We had set up the Presidential Campaign Council. Campaigns are basically a major item in electioneering, and to that extent, we are leaving no stones unturned. The Campaign Council is taking real shape. We are addressing most of the issues that may affect us, you know, at the elections, and we are doing that very well. For instance, the issue of same faith has caused quite some, you know, I wouldn't say uproar, but some comments, you know, from some Christian communities around the, you know, the nation, and we are mitigating against whatever effect that could have. For instance, we have a DG, you know, for the campaign that is a Christian and a governor, a northern Christian and a governor. And, you know, the media team, the media directorate of the Presidential Campaign Council is solid, very thick, comprising of a lot of experienced hands that can turn things around, you know. Don't forget that the personality of our presidential candidate is no rookie. He's a man that is very, very groomed in the area of politics. And his politics, you know, is something that even the smallest person in Nigeria knows that this is a great politician. He never loses election. He's never lost an election. And he will not lose this. So therefore, I mean, you know, if you observe everything, our government has shown a lot of courage. The challenges that are plaguing the Nigerian nation, you know, are enormous. And as a result of which, we're doing our best to see that, you know, we're able to leave a legacy that we can build on to solve the problem of Nigeria. The problems of Nigeria are enormous. Some of those problems are just coming on, and sometimes a personality like Bola Tinubu is just right to, you know, tackle those challenges. So we haven't made a mistake at all.
All right, Ogundada, I want to ask you this very important question. How prepared is the APC to face the opposition political parties? Because they say they have a rich dossier of things that they will use to kick the APC out of power.
Yes. I was here August 2019. That was even before our presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, talked about even becoming, contesting for that position. And one of our strong points, why I know that this election is going to be a walkover for us, is the personality, the person that the party has picked to represent them at the presidential election. And that's the person of Bola Tinubu. And I keep telling people, it's not just talking. We want to campaign based on achievements, competence. What has he done before, and what is he able to do? Okay, and there are so many things that he has done. This is a man who believes in the grassroots. Okay, he's opportune to have come from, let me say, the upper class, but he did not just he's someone that believes in the masses. Okay, and this is what brought about the creation of additional 37 LCDA in Lagos. Okay, because he wants to govern to the root. And he also believes in education, that once one is educated, then you can do so many things. And that's why when he was the governor of Lagos State, he introduced this one-day governor. Okay, and to encourage children. And I can tell you how many kids were motivated just by that singular act. And his 8 years as governor of Lagos State, he concentrated so much on education. Okay, and so that's going to form
the manifesto that he's going to release, because we must be careful not to campaign for the it's not a campaign season at the moment.
I'm not campaigning for him. I'm just stating for a fact why the election will be an easy ride for us, because we have things to show.
Okay, but that's contrary to what the opposition is saying. Ajiboye, if you read what's going on both in mainstream and social media, it looks like it's a tough battle for the APC. I mean, in terms of the insecurity, in terms of the economy, in terms of the high cost of living, and a lot of things. People are beginning to wonder how the APC is going to stand and face Nigerians from September 28, because, I mean, when it comes to the issues of corruption too, they said this APC-led federal government seems not to have delivered so much that Tinubu can be able to use to campaign when eventually the campaigns begin. So how are you trying to factor all of that as you try to finalize your manifesto, so that whatever you place before Nigerians will be based on fact, and of course they will agree with you or maybe even disagree with you on certain areas?
What has the PDP got to dislodge APC? They spent 16 years in power. What did they do? We dislodge them because they were not a performing party, and they can never be a performing party. Is it now that their presidential candidate, who has been at it for donkey years, now what do they have to tell Nigerians? You know, so who is perturbed by PDP, and why should we even bother to worry about PDP?
So if you're not worried about PDP, are you worried about Labour Party?
What's that? What party?
So, I mean, I'm trying to find out if you're not focusing on PDP, is it Labour Party that you're not focusing on?
What party did you call?
Well, I'm very sure you must have heard me.
So, I want to ask you again, how many senators does Labour Party have? How many House of Rep members?
That does not mean
how
that
many
they cannot
local
have in the next election.
That's not even an issue. If there was no Obi, there would not have been Labour Party at the presidential aspiration. So, maybe Obi is going through the back door to corner popularity, and he has some popularity on telephone popularity, social media popularity. So why should that? You see, when you talk about elections, you talk about political structures. When you talk about election, you talk about tangible issues to campaign with. I want to ask you a very major question. How much was Nigeria spending on agricultural import of agricultural products like rice and all of those things? In fact, rice in particular, about $5 million daily before our government came.
And so what's the current position at the moment?
Today, we consume 90% of the rice. We produce 90% of the rice we consume today. Doesn't that look like an achievement?
It is an achievement.
Well,
so,
it's left for Nigerians to answer you.
I haven't even finished. I'm coming now. When we got to power, in fact, the 2015 election was a problem because about 4 states, Borno, Yobe, and a couple of states were under the siege of Boko Haram. Not that they were just ordinarily under the siege of Boko Haram. They hoisted their flags, and it was an indication that we are taking over these places. Do you remember that? Today, no one local government is under their control.
Well, that's disputable because we have seen even your own governor, the governor of Borno State, saying that some of those local governments are still under control.
That's not the issue. That is not terrorists. The issue. I am not saying that there are no terrorists anymore. I am saying that typically, when terrorists take over a domain, an environment, and they put their flag to say we control government here, we are government here, within a government, it is worrisome. We don't have that now. That's the point I'm making. And it's very clear and simple.
Yeah, but that's so not to say that there are are no enclaves.
No, that's not the issue.
Yeah, you have said it very clearly.
Tell me how many enclaves the Boko Haram had hosted their flags as we speak. If you don't have, it means there's none. So if there is none, it's an achievement. We have moved from one point to another. Therefore, we must recognize that. 2, talking about road network and policy management, you can't compare. Infrastructural development, I know that for sure. I know that for free. That does not mean we don't have our problems. But then I tell you that the Nigerian state developed many other problems in between. We didn't have problems of kidnapping and all of that, banditry and all of that. They cropped up in between. But I tell you...
And especially under the Buhari government, because we have seen the Niger State governor, your own APC governor, saying that, look, Boko Haram are taking over large swaths of land in Niger State, crying for help, that they're even close to Abuja, until we had to see some infiltration, though the military is trying to push them back, and of course, it's killing many of them.
That's what I'm saying to you, that the military has been a lot empowered under this government. And as a matter of fact, we appreciate that there are still problems, and we know that we must devise means of solving these problems, and we are working very hard at it.
Okay, just hold on. I can see that you're itching to actually add to that particular point.
Just to add to that, today, this morning, we heard how our military, the Air Force, they were able to bomb one of the settlements of these terrorists, and even their kingpin was killed, and 20 others. Okay, I want us to realize that some of the equipment needed to fight this battle, it's something that it took time to manufacture and even to bring into the country. Now we have them. We have some of them, and you can notice that the fight is ongoing fiercely now. In the last 1 week, we've seen how our naval officer, our Air Force officers have been operating a lot of airstrikes, and we are going to win the war. Nigeria will remain. I'm very optimistic about that.
When the opposition is saying that the country is increasingly being insecure, are you saying that they are not giving the true picture of the country?
Oh, you just said opposition. They are expected to say that just to make the entire masses feel unsafe.
But in Abuja here too, we have seen lots of Nigerians being unsafe and feeling unsafe because of what happened, I mean, of recent, including the correctional center being attacked and all of that. So what is the APC strategy to ensure that it presents a formidable message that Nigerians will align with when it begins its campaigns next month?
No, it's obvious already. Like I said, the battle is on, and then we are winning the battle on daily basis.
So it won't affect your campaigns?
It's definitely not going to affect our campaigns.
Okay, and I come back to you, Ajiboye. Let's talk about the APC as a political party itself. How is it working with the structures which you talked about across the country to ensure that, you know, right from the local governments, party offices are able to constitute strong teams that will campaign for you, and I'll be able to deliver these messages to the grassroots and not engage in campaign of calumny, engage in the issues that we have seen now of mudslinging, which will eventually move people away from the real issues and then focus on personality.
Have you heard when they say that Ajiboye Tinubu is sick? They are saying too many funny things. That man has not been to the hospital for any check or anything in the last 6 months, and they say he's sick. So how is he sick and he'll be at home working? He did the most rigorous campaigns all around Nigeria. So, you know, they are interested in picking on personalities and destroying people's names and all of that. That's what they consider campaign. Campaign is a question of ability to convince electorates to vote for you as a party. We are not found wanting in that direction. We have our strategies. Like I said, I'm a member of the media team of the Presidential Campaign Council, and we are working very seriously to ensure that we're able to tell the Nigerian people, you know, the true situation of things and how we can make things better.
Yeah, I mean, just yesterday you sent out this statement kicking hard at Labour Party supporters and asking Peter Obi supporters to maintain some form of decorum as the elections are getting close. But Peter Obi campaign team actually replied to you and said that, look, they are ready for elections that are not based on personalities. And so you should also caution your own writers, your own members of the presidential campaign team and other APC sympathizers to stop hitting hard at others, including, I mean, their reference to Sam Omashe, who had written what they felt was a very bad article against Peter Obi. What do you make of that?
Sam Omashe was writing editorial. He writes naturally, and if he has written anything that is deemed to be destructive to Peter Obi's name, they have a right to go to court for slander or libel, whatever it is. That's not the issue. It's not an issue at all. The issue here is that the attack on our candidate is a lot more. A group of people in red dress called some confraternity, I don't know what they call. They were singing some songs that were extremely immoral and indecorous. And how on earth do you just, you know, I'm not bothered about all of that because they're just not important. Not important because I remember some time ago the owner of AIT did a documentary against Asiwaju, destroying his name. We took him to court and he was told to apologize. So we are used to all of those. You see, because our candidate is formidable and big, they are scared. So they think that is the truth.
Well, that's what they are saying. That
they think,
they are prepared.
Those things don't matter.
Even the new
we don't bother about those things. We are bothered about how to deliver to the Nigerian people dividend of democracy. We had labored for this democracy. Our principal, the presidential candidate, was in forefront of the emancipation of the people, the entrenchment of democracy. We must make sure that this democracy works And that is what we are bothered about. What is our business with Obi or no Obi? Why should I bother myself about
all right, we've seen Abiodun Faleke. I mean, we're just coming in, I was told he has been appointed the secretary of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Tell us how this, how formidable your campaign council is going to be under the DG, Governor Simon Lalong. How prepared are you to face questions that Nigerians are willing to put at you about how the cost of living has increased under APC? People have become poorer because of economic policies. And then, of course, the issues that are there is that what kind of grand visions is the APC bringing? How is the APC going to see Nigeria in the next 10 years? People are interested in questioning your party and your presidential candidate about that. How prepared is your campaign council to handle these issues?
We are very prepared. Like I said earlier on, this election coming is going to be based on, our campaign will be based on what have you done before now. And of all the three presidential candidates that I know of, our candidate is the most formidable.
Top presidential candidates.
The three top presidential candidates. Our candidate is the most formidable. There are so many things that we are going to use to campaign for him, and it's going to be an easy ride. And if you're talking about the inflation in the economy, it's not just Nigeria alone. That's the funniest thing. America is going through recession right now as we speak. Some days ago we were comparing.
That's not on record that they're actually going through recession.
Oh,
they may be going through an economic challenge at the moment.
A lot of economic challenge, and it's all over the world. It's not just Nigeria alone. Look at the price of petrol in other countries is extremely high when you convert. And we are working on this. And you know, when President Muhammadu Buhari became the president, one of the things that he looked into and worked seriously for is agriculture, and he ensured that everything we are going to eat, we should be able to produce in the country. And I will tell you specifically about rice production. Every market you go to now, in fact, it's Nigerian rice you see more than the foreign rice that we used to have everywhere before.
Yeah,
so
but
we've
the
achieved
price
so
hasn't
much
gone down, actually.
Yes,
a lot of Nigerians have thought that with the increase in local production, the price of rice will go down for affordability. But I mean,
listen,
the outcry is all there, and I'm very sure you go to the market just like other Nigerians do. At this point in time, I also want you to focus about you know, the sort of things that we have always known your presidential candidate agitating for. The issues of state police, the issues of fiscal federalism, all these things that we've heard him talking about while he was in AD, before he eventually got into AC, and then of course ACN, and then APC. How prepared is Tinubu to actually come out and tell us more about how to restructure the country? Because that's what his opponents, Atiku Abubakar, that's why he's already saying that, look, in terms of fuel subsidy, he's going to do this. In terms of federalism, fiscal federalism, these are the things he will do and all of that. Are we prepared to see Tinubu doing that? Or because of the knot that he's trying to cut, we won't hear him talking about fiscal federalism or restructuring?
If you are looking for the person that can take us out of the doldrums, then you need somebody like Ajiboye Ahmed Tinubu. I am talking about somebody who understands what it means to put the right economic policies in place to ensure that the nation is taken out of poverty. That is Tinubu. And I'll tell you what I mean. You know, if you take a reference from Lagos, he was able to grow the IGR of Lagos, which has been on a perpetual rise from that time to about 14 billion to about 51 billion now. If he did that in Lagos, he can do that in Nigeria. 1 point. The economic circumstance we face in Nigeria today is a product of global distortion. The COVID-19 affected the world economy in very great measures. 1. 2, the Ukraine war is causing quite some issues to the economy of the world. Nigeria is not an exception. It is not because the government of APC is not effective that we have that economic distortion. But
well, a lot of Nigerians will disagree with
you
that there are some policies that your party,
I'm saying,
especially in restructuring, your party had promised a lot of Nigerians restructuring in 2015, and since now we haven't seen a lot being done.
We are talking about what Tinubu is going to do about restructuring, about economic policies, about all of that. We haven't started campaign. We haven't started to tell Nigerians officially what we're going to do.
And that's what I'm saying.
So I'm saying to you,
is that part of your plans?
We are putting our manifesto. We are putting our manifestos together. By the time campaign officially opens, you have the opportunity of knowing what we are going to tell Nigerians. What I'm telling you and I'm clear about is the fact that a Tinubu government is a government that will put smiles on the faces of Nigerians.
Okay.
Economically,
just hold on. Let's go on a short
government,
break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. You're still watching the Arise interview, and we're taking a look at plans by the campaign directorates of major political parties to prepare for the electoral campaigns that are scheduled to begin next month in September. And of course, we've seen the political parties constituting their presidential campaign councils. So when we come back from the break, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching the Arise interview, and I'm Somna Sambo. I still have with me in the studio the National Coordinator, Tinubu Campaign Agenda for Nigeria, Zainab Yusuf Ogundada, and Ajiboye, who is a member of the Media Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. And we have been talking about preparations for the 2023 general election and how the governing party is preparing for that. And I come back to you, Ajiboye. Let's talk about the boast by Abdullah Adamu that APC has 43 million registered political party members, and that with only these ones, it's already looking like it's enough for it to be able to, retain power in 2023. Isn't that doubtful?
No, it's hopeful, not doubtful. He has exuded the right confidence expected of a chairman of a party. I support his enthusiasm. 43
million registered members.
Are you doubting? Is it the figure that you are doubting?
Yeah, the figure, a lot of persons would want to say that.
That's not what we should contend. For us to doubt the figures, we have to have alternative information. Since we do not, you and I don't have, let's believe his figures. He's the chairman of the party. And I think is exuding and is having the right confidence needed. The point is simple. The party must work very hard to win the elections. We have come to the realization of the fact that the Nigerian people must not be taken for granted. Mm-hmm. We have come to the realization that, especially those of us in the strategic communication arm of the Presidential Campaign Council, we are mindful of our language. We are mindful of the mood of the nation. We are mindful of the mood of the individual Nigerians. And we are prepared to appreciate them for whatever circumstance every one of us is facing today in this country. We have the right communication mix, the right communication attitude, and we are going to express to the Nigerian people, speak to them in the language that can soften their heart, and they will vote for us. Yeah,
and we're hearing that some strategies are being added to your campaign council, like Honorable Abiodun Faleke, though it's yet to formally be made public, but how prepared are you to have someone like that as a secretary to back up Governor Simon Lalong to help push forward the Tinubu agenda and, of course, sell APC to Nigerians?
Tinubu Shetima agenda. Yeah. Faleke is a fantastic doer. He's a goal-getter. He's an operational person. He's a strategic person. He's a man that puts his heart on a job. He's a man who knows the right commitment required to get a job done. Faleke's choice is a perfect choice, and he's going to make things happen. He's going to perfectly complement Governor Lalong. Faleke is a legislator. He has been in the House of Reps. He was a chairman of a party, chairman of a local government chairman in Lagos before he came to the House of Reps. He has been in the House of Reps for quite a while. A banker, a man who knows his onions. The party will benefit tremendously from his wealth of experience. And I'm confident that it is a good choice.
Okay, when it's eventually announced. And I come to you, Zainab, as we try to costume. Let's talk about Tinubu's progressive credentials. I mean, a lot of persons will say that Tinubu was always shouting progressives and all of that before APC was created. But when APC got created, some of the progressive ideals that a lot of people had been expecting him to help APC to deliver, like state police, like fiscal federalism, restructuring and all of that, it looks like he just went back. Is he able to deliver this himself? If
of course, he's able to. We've seen what he has done in the past. We know Tinubu as a job creator. When he became the governor, he started Lasema, Lamata, different IRS, different organizations just to create jobs for people. And he is an entrepreneur. He is a businessman, and that is the kind of president this country is in dear need of. So him not, you feel he's, you're not feeling him, or you didn't feel him all this while.
Yeah, I mean, but they sold these progressive ideals to Nigerians. That's what I'm trying to say. He's not the
commander-in-chief.
Yes, but he helped to market APC. The APC is a progressive party. In fact, that's why you have progressive in the middle. But how come we haven't seen things like state police being given to Nigerians, restructuring issues that Nigerians have been talking about? We haven't seen this government, the APC-led federal government, delivering on that. Can we question Tinubu's progressivism as we go into the 2022 election?
His progressivism cannot be questioned. Tinubu, Ajiboye Ahmed Tinubu, is a progressive to the core by his antecedents. And he's not the commander-in-chief right now. He can only advise, and I'm sure he's been doing that. Now, if you take Lagos State as it is right now, they have their own state policing aside the national police force that
like
we
the
have.
Neighborhood Watch. And
Neighborhood Watch and OPC and several other
OPC wouldn't be a part of it though.
Okay, and so he's a progressive to the core, and that's why you don't see him changing parties from one party to the other. He's been a progressive, and he's still a progressive, and we are sure he will deliver, and he's the kind of person the country is in their need of now. We need someone who will be able to create jobs, make wealth readily available for anyone that is hardworking.
Okay, yes. And quickly, just before we end the show, this segment of the show, I want you to also talk about that. Tinubu's progressive credentials are being questioned. He helped to sell an APC to Nigerians in 2015 and 2019 that this party will bring state police restructuring and all of that will help improve the revenue profile of the country. But people are beginning to say, look, it looks like maybe Tinubu may have been too forward, because it looks like Buhari is not sharing some of those ideas. Doesn't share some of those ideas with Tinubu. So is Tinubu's progressivism questioned? Should it be questioned at this point as we go into 2023? Or if he becomes his own man, we're going to see a different APC under him?
If Buhari does not share Tinubu's advice, why are you blaming Tinubu for that?
Well, he helped to sell Buhari to Nigerians.
No, you are not answering my question, sir. My question to you is that if President Buhari does not share Tinubu's ideas, why are you blaming Tinubu?
Because Tinubu campaigned for Buhari in 2015 and 2019 and said that if APC comes into power, APC will help to shape and restructure this country in terms of state police and some of the governance challenges that we are facing as a nation. And it's close to 8 years now. We haven't seen the federal government led by the APC bringing state police, restructuring the country and all of that, although we've seen some efforts being made in trying to get electricity across to the states, get prisons to the states, but which is undergoing constitutional review.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has his own personality. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has his own training. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has his own political sagacity. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has his own plans. God has created an opportunity for us to put him on the saddle come 2023. And I can assure you on my honor, sitting right in front of you, that is going to make tremendous difference to the Nigerian people. So as an APC national leader, we shouldn't question his progressivism. Take me back here in 2025. May God spare our lives and question me on my statement now, and you will see that I will not be put to shame. So let's leave it like that.
You are very optimistic that
I am more than optimistic, because this is a project I have been on even before 2019, and I understand the mindset of Asiwaju, and I believe in him. I know what he's going to do.
But are you working towards having these issues in your manifesto ahead of the campaign?
We are working,
the issues of restructuring state police, which are the things that
You have said it before.
ACN
Let me
have
quickly answer
always
before
been
your
talking
time-
about.
Let me quickly answer you before your time runs out. Oh.
Yeah.
We are working on every issue that will bring peace, every issue that will quash insecurity, every issue that will put food on the table, every issue that will improve the economy, every issue that will make every Nigerian proud of being a Nigerian, every issue that will put Nigeria together, every issue that will increase Nigeria's rating in the international community.
Yes.
And I can assure you that will happen. That is what we should be looking at. Asiwaju
okay.
is not a rookie in politics.
Okay,
or in
very
governance,
quickly.
as
Do you want to
the
add
case
something
may
to
be.
that before we end this segment?
You just said we shouldn't campaign for him, but Ajiboye
Yeah,
Bola
but
Ahmed
we
Tinubu-
can't stop talking about this issue
Yes.
because his own political family has always been known as the Progressives,
has said.
and I guess that's why that middle name Progressive was added to the APC
Yes.
because it was a mixture of conservatives and progressives that founded the party. But some people are beginning to question whether Tinubu has not lost his progressivism because of that marriage of progressives and conservatives, which has had the APC in power since 2015.
Obviously, he has not lost it. That is why he has come out to contest. So
Okay.
that to correct all abnormalities and give us a better Nigeria, a Nigeria of our dream, a country that will be safe and enough food, and every woman wake up in the morning, they are happy with their children because there is food on the table for the children to eat.
Okay.
One point I want to say is
Very
Ajiboye
quickly.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a job creator, and
Yeah.
we need him right now to restructure
Okay,
Nigeria.
well, most thank you so much, Zainab Yusuf Ogundada. She's the National Coordinator, Tinubu Campaign Agenda for Nigeria, TCAN, as you like to call it. And then Biodun Ajiboye is a member of the Media Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. And I can see you already smoking hot. I wonder what it will be like when the campaigns eventually kick off. But we must wish all of you well, and we continue to appeal to you as the media, as the media, to ensure that your language is temperate, and of course we don't have a situation where
Having spent 32 years in the media, I should know the right language to speak.
Okay.